Hello there, my name is Sue. This is Miller's Laboratory and welcome to my workshop. I have created some books here that I want to show you. They're the start. So what I've done is stitched in the pages, and today I'm going to kind of go through a couple of them and show you how I'm going to finish them off on the inside, at least as far as creating the pockets and the flips and such. And I'll try to keep you guys posted as to my progress in these, but I've got 7, and I chose 7 of my prettiest covers that I was kind of hoarding. This one is so pretty. Four Girls is the name of the book by Pansy, and it's just got all this pretty gold work on it, and as I usually do, I left the handwriting on the inside. I've just used muslin to reinforce the spine on the inside. And then some of these one of them has 3 signatures. Most of them have 4. There's one book that's a little bit larger that has 5. So this is the first one. I'm just going to show you the covers. This one is an old reader, Appleton School Reader. Level 5 is this one. This one had a leather spine, and you can see the spine was quite damaged, but I just glued it onto the muslin, and that is sturdy enough to hold the book together. I'll decide along the way whether I want to add fabric on the spine on the outside or not. I lean toward just leaving them the way they are, because sometimes I think, a lot of the time that's how I prefer them. The people that buy the book, if they want to cover it with some kind of fabric that's special to them, they can do that. So anyway, just an odd assortment, or just kind of an eclectic assortment of papers inside here. Some are printed, but most are not. A lot of book pages, and just papers that I have. Isn't that pretty? That's all embossed. It's a beautiful cover. Again, really damaged, but that muslin is doing its job, and that good old tacky glue doing their job to hold everything together. This one is a really pretty cover with, it's probably hard to see the design on it, but it's also it's ribbed almost, so it has a really nice texture to it. This is a little bit thinner book. This one just has the 3 signatures. And then this pretty blue one is debossed, I guess you would say. And the part that goes in is like purple, which is kind of pretty. The Shadow of a Sin was the name of the title. Most of these books are over 100 years old. Late 1800s mostly. There might be 1 or 2 from the early 1900s. This one I didn't think was as old, but this is definitely late 1800s, and I love that pretty crest on it. And this is a nice fat book, so it's got 5 signatures in it, and the title was With Fire and Sword. Probably some sort of military army story. If the cover was colored, like this green one, then I tended to add more green papers in if I had them. So this blue one has more blue in it. You can kind of see. So anyway, I'm just going to grab one and we'll start working on it. Let's start with the pretty Four Girls. I did find something I wanted to put in that one right away. So let me put these other ones aside. My workshop is quite a mess. You really wouldn't want to see beyond the boundary of my camera here. Hopefully as I work, I'll be cleaning up a little bit too. Makes it not fun to come down here and work because it's such a mess. All right. So this book, I have a picture from the inside of the original book. Let me grab that here. This is entitled The Four Girls, and that was at the front of the book. And so I thought it would be fun to use that right away inside because that's the title. And so it could be a flip. You can see there was more writing on here that got erased by the little girl that owned it, or the girl that owned it. Or this would make a nice journal card too. So I'm just kind of looking to see where I might want to add this in one of those ways. Like I could add it here as a flip. Just have that flip out like that. That might be nice. I just have to trim that up a little bit. So let's do that and keep the most of that page. So I'm kind of leaning toward just sticking it on there just like that. And then that will flip open, and then this can even be a pocket here. So I think that's what I'll do. Looks like I'm going to have to take just a tiny bit off to make it match the size of the page underneath it. Yeah, that'll work. All right. So handy dandy glue. One thing I did this morning before I started my video is my glue bottle was almost empty, so I took it all apart and cleaned it, and it's like a huge treat to have this nice clean glue bottle, and the glue is going to flow out so nicely. It's just going to be a pleasure to work with here. So where have I been? I think the last video that I made was right after my vacation, when I made my travel journal. And I think that was in September last year. I'm ashamed to say that it's been that long. It just went by really quick. I did make some other journals. I made a fall journal that's really lovely. And for that, I actually created my own digital kit, which took up a lot of time, but it was really fun. And that's something I've always wanted to do, was maybe start doing some digitals to sell in my shop. And so that was a kind of a first go at it. But unfortunately, by the time I got that book done, it was way too late to sell it for a fall journal. So that one is going to be, you'll see that later this year. I'll bring it back out and I'll put it in my shop. And so then I was kind of discouraged about that. So I thought, well, I'll make some Christmas journals. And the same thing happened. I got quite a few Christmas journals made, but they weren't done until like a week and a half before Christmas. And, maybe somebody would buy them and create them after the fact. But for the most part, you want to sell something like that before the season. So those are also going to be waiting till next year. So then I just sort of had burnt myself out for nothing, I felt like. And I was just kind of like, okay, oops, excuse me. So I'm just going to take a break for a little while here from this. And then right after Christmas, my daughter got engaged. So that's sort of been my main project for the last few months, is figuring out, I think I'm just going to make this one into a nice up tuck. So we've been just kind of doing the basic planning for the wedding. She is going to get married in May of next year, so we have a whole year. And so we do have our venue all chosen and reserved, and we have a photographer lined up. Next on our list to do is find a DJ, I think, and then we'll start working on the catering. So it's just a lot of planning and a lot to do, and frankly, just a little bit overwhelming. And so again, that's another reason why I've just been like, oh, I have other things to work on that don't have anything to do with books. So that's what I've been doing. All right. This one, I think it'd be pretty if I just had a little bit of lace or something on there just to make that page a little bit larger. So I'm going to find something and I'll be right back. Let's tear it off and see what we think. So we are, it's May 2nd today. Should be spring. It's actually pretty cold out here today, colder than I would like. Had to cover up some plants last night to keep them from freezing. I'm trying to grow some ranunculus. Which isn't the easiest to do here in Michigan, but I thought if I could get it to work this year, then maybe I would have those for Sky's wedding. So that is yet another project that I have been working on. And we're in crunch time here. The plants are doing okay, but there's no buds on them. Like, they're not even looking like they're going to flower anytime soon. And I don't know what to expect. I don't know why that is. I started them inside with plenty of time, and I moved them outdoors as soon as I was able to, weather permitting. They're not frost tolerant. I had to put them in some kind of like these big flat crates that I can move around, put them in the sun if I want to, or move them up close to the house. That looks really nice. I like that. Move them up close to the house when it's too cold. And so I don't know if they just don't like that impermanence or what it is, but that's been a bit of a disappointment because my sister and I were both going to just grow a ton of those to use for the table decorations for the wedding. And this year was our trial run to see how that was going to work. And so far, it's looking like we're not going to do that. It's just not going to go. But I have a couple weeks. Her wedding date is May 15th next year. So something magical could happen in 2 weeks and the flowers could come on. You never know. Got some really cool things in here. This is from a really old ledger, 1876. Isn't that cool? And just like super grungy, and I love it. And when I stitched these together, I left the strings longer so that they come down through the bottom of the book. If you are a person who likes to attach dangly things, you can definitely do that with this. Okay. This one I think I'll have as a flip too. Maybe I'll put an envelope on there. That might be fun. While I was clearing off my spot here, I saw a little cutlery, one of these little cutlery ones. I think these are fun, that they have your cutlery in when you go to a restaurant. And if I did that and folded that up, it could be a little double pocket, which is kind of fun. So we'll do that. So we're gonna use our pinking shears here. Or these little zigzaggy ones. Cut the end off, and then it kind of matches what's at the top. See how we did. Not bad. Not bad at all. And this is cool. I think what I might do is make some little flags to hang down there and just have that be flat. So let's take some little scraps of paper and do that. It's a pretty little piece from a sort of a botanical book. Little triangles. So they'll tuck under there like that. So maybe we'll do this one and we'll arrange these in here. So now we have a pocket, and we can go right up under those, and then it'll hang down like that. Isn't that cute? I think it's cute. I just have to seal that up on that side. Let's stitch an extra page in there for kicks, for funsies. Yeah, I like that. All right, and I'm gonna tie a knot in one end. Now I'm just gonna stitch like a running stitch to stitch that on there, just because that's how I want to do it. Okay, and I'm gonna start on the outside because I want that little knot to show. There we go, and it's in. I'll just cut that end off like that. Okay, and then we've created a little extra booklet there. This one, I do want to add something on here that's a little more interesting. From 23, wish you and I were walking down the avenue tonight. Gotta love that. Okay, so we'll put that here. I don't really want to cover up the date or anything. Right in there like that. I like that. And then you can flip it out and you can read the postcard. It's fun. I think it's fun anyway. Okay. Okay. There we go. Tuck it right up in there like that. Over and glue it. You can open it like that. So cute. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of work here in the blue one today too. Just a few highlights so you can kind of see what I'm up to. And then that'll be it for today. And then I'll come back again soon and work in a couple more of those books. We're just going to glue that right on there like that. Yep. Okay. A little bit of glue down the side and around the edge here, and we could just do a little bit there too. And then we'll put that down like that. And that's kind of fun. All right, like that. Okay, so there we go. That's good. I like that. Okay. Now this one, I feel like maybe I'll use that on. That would be pretty if I tucked it under there like that. Yes, I think so. Okay. So we'll put glue along here. And as much as we're able to along here. Okay, a little bit along this edge here. Keep that down. And also over here to keep that down. Ooh. And then we'll just trim that off. Okay, now we have like two little pockets there and there, which could be fun. Envelope. For sure, an envelope on that one. So, isn't this the coolest book? Suggested Unit Course in Advanced Blueprint Reading for Machine Trades, Volume 2. It has all these cool blueprint pages in it that fold out. I'm obsessed with these. I think they're so cool. And they are all blank on the back. So let's just tear one out and see what we want to do with it. I mean, isn't that cool? I love it. Love it so much. Okay. So I'm thinking we could make a really cool envelope out of this. That's kind of what my thought is. So let's see. It would have to go this way. And maybe that big. And then this will fold down like this. It doesn't need to be that big. Like here. This is working on the fly here. Okay. All right. And then we will have it come down about this far. So we're going to go ahead and take that off. There. Save that for something else. Okay. All right. Now, to do it properly, we're going to want to fold our sides in a little bit. Just a little bit. So let's do that next. All right. So there's that. Then this will come up. This will come down. Okay. And we're a little off over there. That's all right, because we're going to cut this flap off anyway. So we're going to cut here. And we're going to cut here. We're going to just like that. And the same over here. So we have that. This will come down like this. So we're getting there. Now here we need to round that up. And we're going to take it off of this as well. So we're going to come in here, round this, and come down to our fold. Same thing over here. Then we're going to come across and curve there, and same over here. Glue it, and it's an envelope. And then that flaps down. I like it. Just like that. Okay. To about here. And then around here. And just a little bit around the edge there. Around the corner. Just a wee bit. Glue it down. And it's an envelope, just like that. Okay, and then I might make the flap just a little shorter. The flap is a little long. Just take that off. And I'm happy with it. I think it's good. All right, so that was gonna go right on here like this. Let's do this. Let's put it on here like this. Go around the edge. Glue her down. There. Yes. I think that will work. And then you can tuck a little something in here. A little something something. Okay. Very nice. This is tearing, so let's just add a little bit of repair on it. I have this blue, I don't know where this came from, blue tissue paper. We'll use that. It'll make an interesting looking repair on there because of the color. So, like that, right? Yeah, I think that's cool. I really need glue stick for that though. Okay. Let's just use a piece of scrap paper here to get it on there. Okay. And there we have it. I think I'll put a piece of paper underneath it. All right, and then we'll just put a little label up there. I'm thinking this one is nice. Oh, I like that. Okay. Oh, don't want it. There. Okay. And then you could have a little bit of doily or something there. That might be nice too, like that. Yep. Okay. So then we have this little guy that opens up, and then we have this where you can write. All right, here we go with a stub. And here I'm going to have a flipping pocket with a window in it. So we need to find some paper that we want to use for that. I'm just going to stick that there to hold that open. It's got some pretty blues in it. I think we could use that. I'll cut this end off. that is actually fine. Just have a little bit of white showing here that I don't like, so we'll take that off. Okay. All right, so this is going to get glued in here like this, and then it will flip that way. Okay. But we're going to put a window in it here. I'm going to use this guy. My little like fleur-de-lis, or like it's like a, I don't know what you call it. We're going to line it up in the middle and we're going to punch it. Okay. So it'll be like that. And that makes me think that I want the pocket to be just a little bit shorter, because that's kind of weird, top heavy. So we'll take a little bit more off of that. All right, now we're going to take our acetate and we're going to create our little windows inside there. So we're just going to cut our squares from this. I don't know if I can get 2 of them out of that. Probably not. No, that's okay. There, and one more. Okay. That's going to get glued on there like that. So we'll just whip a little glue, not too close to the edge because you don't want it seeping out. And then around the edge. That. Glue it down. Same thing with this one. Then we're just going to take Scotch tape. I'm going to go grab my Scotch tape. And we're going to put a strip of Scotch tape across the top there, and that keeps stuff when you put it in the pocket from getting hung up on that. Ordinary Scotch tape. Right across there like that. Okay. See? All right, now I do want to cut a little notch in the top. Let's use this guy. We want it to be pretty centered with the thing. Do it. Just do it. Okay. And there's our pocket. Isn't that cute? All right, so then we're just going to take and put glue along here first, and along here, and just tuck that in there, stick it down. Okay, and then we just sandwich that over and glue down. Okay, so we need glue along here to close the bottom of it, and over here. There it is. Okay, so we have a pocket with a window in it. A flipping pocket with a window. I mean, really, that's a lot. Let's see if I stick something in there so you can see. It's not very exciting. Oh, that's prettier. Then you can kind of see it through there. Okay, so that's that one. That's my work for these 2 books today, and I will be back working on a couple more once we get them all finished on the construction, then I will go in and start adding in all of the journal cards and tags. So thanks for joining me today, and thanks for coming back, and I'll see you soon. Bye.